I'm getting awfully tired of this attitude we have in the United States of thank God for billionaires. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up to the BS of the MAGA crowd. So today's video, I'm going to rant a little bit because I'm getting really tired of hearing how great America is because of the billionaires. Now, let me start by saying that I'm not anti-capitalism. I'm not even anti-rich. I think that Bill Gates is a brilliant business person, as was Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos. And you can't help but admire Elon Musk a little bit, can you? I mean, especially as a business professor, I have to talk a lot of the time about these guys and some of the accomplishments that they've done. But where is it we get this attitude in our country that somehow they're the be-all and end-all? I mean, they've become the new celebrities in America. Some might even say that we worship them to a certain degree. I mean, at the same time as people have lost faith in the ability of government to get things done, we look to people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos to solve our problems, don't we? Forgetting the fact, for example, that Elon Musk would not have been the Elon Musk he is without the assistance of the US government. I mean, consider the fact that he almost went broke, except for an intervention by, wait for it, the Obama administration that saved Tesla. And most of Tesla's profits, actually, have come from the sale of carbon capture credits, not from the sale of vehicles. And those carbon credits are made possible by, you guessed it, government. Not to mention the fact that pretty much the only customer of SpaceX is, wait for it, the United States government. And although Al Gore was made fun of, and rightfully so, for his comments when he took credit for the internet, the reality is he actually was involved in opening up the internet to commercialization. The internet, after all, was something created here in the United States basically for academics to communicate with each other and for the military to be able to communicate with forces spread across the world. The idea that it could be something that's used by independent commercial entities is really something that was the result of the hard work of a few individuals, one of whom, by the way, was Al Gore. And without that, you wouldn't have had the fortunes of Bezos or Mark Andreessen or the Google guys. So this attitude that somehow they shouldn't pay their fair share in taxes really grates on me. I mean, as Elizabeth Warren, I think, described very appropriately once, if someone built a business and made a fortune, hey, they should enjoy the benefits of it. But nobody makes a fortune without getting the benefits from the society as a whole. And essentially, that's why they should pay taxes. That's why everybody pays taxes. So the latest example of this worshiping of billionaires that came across my desk was when I saw an article in Bloomberg, which I'll of course link to down below, talking about how Bill Gates is responsible for passing the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, the Inflation Reduction Act, as I'm sure you know, is largely a climate bill, and a very good climate bill at that. Perhaps the most important effort the United States, or really pretty much any country, has made to date at trying to reduce the emissions of carbon into the atmosphere. In fact, environmental scientists believe that the United States might well be on track to actually achieve the climate goals of the Paris Climate Agreement, something that was absolutely outside the realm of the possibility just a couple short weeks ago. As we know, this was originally part of the Build Back Better bill, but then as a result of the machinations of one Joe Manchin, it appeared that that whole effort was dead. Until all of a sudden, a couple weeks ago, it wasn't. Now, by all reports, the people who deserve a lot of credit for this are basically Joe Manchin, obviously, Joe Biden, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who worked long and hard to try to find something that all of them could agree on. So imagine my surprise when I saw the article on Bloomberg talking about how we owe this legislation to Bill Gates. Now, I don't want to diminish the impact of Bill Gates. I think Bill Gates has done a lot of good. His charities, despite some griping, have really completely changed the dynamic of non-governmental entities around the world, actually. He has also shown a very deep commitment to addressing the climate crisis. And he has been vocal about the fact that the United States needed to do something about its climate emissions. But to suddenly say as if Bill Gates is the guy who delivered this new climate bill is just beyond absurd. And it just shows once again how we're diminishing the impact of people who work for the government, the elected officials, for this attitude that we have of somehow the billionaires are going to save us. Now, the biggest problem I have with this, though, is this creates a dynamic where suddenly we don't really have such support for democracy, do we? I mean, we can all remember when Trump advisor Stephen Moore said that capitalism is more important than democracy. Well, that's where this attitude comes from, is that somehow the business leaders, the people who make money, that somehow they matter more than the people who are elected by the people of the country. I mean, this is nothing more than the modern equivalent of might makes right, something that I thought was put to bed back in the days of the Round Table and Arthur. Should we respect people who can build successful businesses, and should they enjoy the fruits of their labor? Of course we should. But should we act as if they're somehow more important than anybody else in the country to this country's success? No, they're not. Because the truth of the matter is, we all have within our power the ability to make change in America. And it comes down to one thing, and that's our vote. And as long as we're willing to get out there and vote and organize others to vote along with us, that power will always be able to overcome the money of the billionaires, no matter what the Supreme Court says. Well, if you want to check out another video I have about what a jerk a certain billionaire is, namely Elon Musk, check out this one over here. He's been called the worst boss in America, and you can see why. I'll talk to you then. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.